From the Berkshires to the Sound, from wherever you live in MLB America, this is Inside the Parker. You give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the scoop on Major League Baseball. Now, here's Baseball Hall of Fame voter number 57.
You have another hot take.
Will not NOT make the playoffs.
Shohei me the money.
Rob Parker.
Come on! I've been covering Major League Baseball for almost 40 years now. In New York, in Cincinnati, in Detroit, in LA. I love this game. Let's go! Welcome into the podcast, and I'm your host, Rob Parker. And what a show we have for you today. Before we even get started, remember, press this button, the subscribe button, so that you're always here, always up to date with all the best coverage of Major League Baseball. As you know, I've been covering baseball since 1986. I love the sport. This is the place for your baseball fix. Welcome into the podcast. I'm your host, Rob Parker, and what a show we have for you today on tap. Coming up, Cleveland Guardians pitcher Triston McKenzie joins us. Also, from WFAN in New York, Keith McPherson, he drops by. Let's go.
Batter up. To lead off, it's Getting Robbed.
And keep them up.
Rob's hot take on the three biggest stories in Major League Baseball. Number 1.
Washington Nationals left fielder James Wood has arrived. Yes, he has. We saw that in the first two games against the Dodgers down in D.C. in that series, where Wood hit 3 home runs, all against lefties in the first two games. And coming into Wednesday, he had 4 home runs, 10 RBI, batting .275, and was balling out. He's, as advertised, the Washington Nationals very high on him. He was the hidden gem in that trade with the Padres. You remember when they gave up Juan Soto? James Wood was in it. And for the Nationals, he's the perfect star. Big, strong, left-handed swinger, home run hitter from suburban Maryland. He's a local kid. You want to talk about trying to sell somebody and have them be the face of your organization moving on? Nothing better than a big, strong, left-handed home run hitter who's local. So listen out and watch out for James Wood all year. Man, he's 6'7". Probably should have played basketball, but he's a great baseball player, a young up-and-coming star in Major League Baseball.
Number 2.
The Toronto Blue Jays, they anteed up, and rightfully so, for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's right, a 14-year extension for $500 million. Don't scratch your head. It makes total sense. That's like $35 million a year. Okay, I know you look at 14 years and you say, oh my God, how are they going to pay somebody that long? You're not worried about that. If he gives you 8 good years and you can win a World Series and have that production, and then that contract 8 or 10 years from now, $35 million will be nothing. This is good to be able to keep one of your own. He just turned 26. This guy's led the major leagues in home run. He's won a Gold Glove. He does a lot of stuff. You got to sell tickets. This is baseball. You can't let all your star players go because you don't want to pay. They're lucky. The ceiling or the big price was $765, right, by Juan Soto, and you got him for $500, not for $600 or $700. For $500. That's a bargain. We saw Ohtani get $700. We saw Soto get $765. I know all players are trying to get as much as they can. $500 is a great price, long-term deal. And guess what? The Blue Jays are set at first base or DH for the next 10 years. Good deal on both sides.
Number 3.
The Cincinnati Reds have their ace for years to come. His name is Hunter Green. The only thing that really has derailed Green were injuries the last couple of years. But when he's out there, he's as good as anybody. Recently, he had his 500 strikeout, which he became the fastest Reds pitcher to 500 Ks. And then we saw him pitch a gem this past week. 8 2/3 against the red-hot San Francisco Giants. He gave up 4 hits, only in 8 2/3 innings, no runs, and only 1 walk. And that walk was the last batter before he was taken out of the game, and he got the win. He lowered his ERA to 1.31. And don't forget the way he finished last season, where he was so good after coming back from injury and pitching down the stretch that he was mentioned for National League Cy Young. He was in that race because he was so good. Hunter Green is a stud pitcher, and we'll see him for a while. The Reds got to be thrilled to have an ace at the top of their rotation for years to come, and he's been signed long-term, so the Reds got a gem in Hunter Green.
Here comes the big interview. Listen and learn.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, let's welcome in Triston McKenzie, of course, pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. Triston, thanks for joining the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Always, my man. Let's just talk about you in the start of the season. How are you feeling this year?
Yeah, biggest thing is health. Feeling healthy, feeling strong, ready to go out there and just try and get some outs for the boys.
And, of course, this year you're in the bullpen to start. Just talk about the changes you have to make from being a starter to a reliever and the mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I think the preparation is a lot more structured. From a starter aspect, you have like a routine. You know that I'm throwing on this specific day, so you have 4 days leading up to it to get your mind right, get your body right. Whereas as a reliever, you have to have more of a concise routine. You have to know that I need this certain amount of pitches to get my body ready in a short amount of time to get ready to go out there and get some outs.
And when you're a starter, obviously it's once every 5th day, but as a reliever, you might not pitch as long, obviously, but you could pitch a few days. What's the difference there about getting your arm ready?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just staying ready on a day-to-day basis and figuring out what makes you feel good every day. I feel like as a starter, the highs and lows are a lot larger, whereas you're not throwing as many pitches out of the pen, so you're not getting as sore, but it's more about maintaining that soreness and figuring out like what you can throw through, what feels good, what doesn't, and what you really need to hit on.
And last year, if it wasn't the injury, you struggled. You got sent to the minors last June. What was that like?
I mean, it was just a tough year in general. Just trying to figure out coming back from injury in 23. Just trying to figure out like what I felt like, what I look like on the mound, and just kind of redefining my identity. And I think that's why this move has been made this year. And going to the pen has kind of helped me find myself a little bit more. Yeah.
When you went through it, though, I mean, did you got to be a little down or depressed a little bit? You know what I mean? You've had success in the big leagues, and you go to the minors, and you have to work on stuff. How did you work through that?
I mean, I think like the game is a game. I think it's built for us to fail. So I never took me failing out there as anything more than like that's what the game required of me, and I think everybody's got to fail at some point. So just figuring out a way to fight through adversity and figure out what makes me good and getting back to where I want to be.
Our guest is Triston McKenzie, of course, a pitcher with the Cleveland Guardians. And as you look into the season, is there a timetable? Is there some sort of formula as where you'll get back to being a starter, or what is the game plan?
I mean, I have no thought process forward like that. I think it's trying to be where my feet are every day and figuring out like how I'm able to have success today, whether that be in my catch play, whether that be in my bullpen routine, whether that be a bullpen outing. Just going out there and figuring out how to have some success there.
And is there more pressure as a reliever because the impact of what you do when you're brought in is huge? Not that as a starter it isn't, but you figure you got innings to pitch and you could pitch out of jams. As a reliever, you really don't have that luxury.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little bit different in terms of like the level of stress when you're coming into the game initially. I think as a starter you kind of have some time to work into it, and you also have like a longer period of time to kind of adjust to your maladies if something bad happens, whereas like a reliever it's like do or die. But I think it's also like you embrace that energy, you embrace that pressure, you embrace that almost anxiety or that excitement you get knowing that like that adrenaline, like, oh, I got to come in here and do my job.
How about this team this year? It's good to have high expectations, obviously. Josh Naylor was traded. What was that like? I know he's one of your close guys, friends on the team.
Yeah, I mean, losing him hurt just as a friend. But I think just knowing what the team is capable of, what we did last year, knowing that we have a majority of the same pieces this year, maybe an addition of a Santana or maybe some bullpen arms, just knowing that we're going to be the same team, we're going to go out there and compete. So I'm excited for it.
And how about the division? Obviously, the Tigers came back roaring last year. The Twins are usually in the mix. Kansas City, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think the White Sox are even going to be – I don't think they can be as bad as they were last year, and I think they already look better. And I think around the division, you're seeing Kansas City with Bobby Witt really play up. You're seeing Detroit at the end of there, especially having a guy like Skubal and some of their young stars. I think the Central is really competitive, and I think we were overlooked a lot in the past, and I think last year kind of opened some people's eyes. So we're excited to have some competition within our division and kind of show the rest of the league what we can do.
All right. Triston McKenzie, appreciate you joining us here on Inside the Parker. Thank you, my man.
Thank you for having me, Rob.
In case you missed Rob Parker on the MLB Network, here's his latest appearance on MLB Now.
Welcome back. It's MLB Now, presented by Blue Buffalo.
The showdown is not meant to cause offense or harm. The viewer acknowledges any reliance on the accuracy or completeness of said content should be done at their own discretion. The host apologizes in advance for any affront as a result of personal attacks.
Rob Parker's weekly for us here on the showdown, always on the program. Always great to have him. Special day. You're at your old high school in Queens, New York right now, Rob. And there's a young Rob Parker right behind you. You're on a mural in your own high school. That's huge. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, BK. Yes, Martin Van Buren High School here in Queens Village. Graduated here in 1982. And they have a new media workroom where kids can do podcasting and all kinds of stuff who want to get interested in the media. So I came to check it out first time.
Who's that? That's Madeline Kahn, right?
Madeline Kahn,
yes. That's excellent. She went to your high school?
Donnie Deutsch is all the way to the right. Donnie Deutsch, you know that name.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee's there. He did not go to Van Buren. And then the other guy is a writer who used to write the old Odd Couple TV shows.
Really?
So they all went to Van Buren except for Spike.
So why is Spike there?
I don't know. Spike just got huge. He's that big, I guess.
Should be Rob Parker High School. That's what I think. I'm going with that, right? Although Madeline Kahn High School sounds good too, from back in the day. And
he's the biggest star.
The guy who wrote the Odd Couple. All right, that's huge. Good for you. All right. The start of the showdown should be, I told you, because we had a list of I got a little list from Rob, what he wants to talk about. And so I told you about what? The Padres winning the West. So you're still going there, right?
I am. Look at where the Padres are. They've had some injuries, and they're the first team to 10 wins. Last year, you know this, BK, they choked against the Dodgers. They should have gone to the World Series.
Had them beat. Yeah. Had them on the canvas. Dodgers taking account. Should have been over. You know what? They're a different team, though. They're a good team. And I know what you mean. Look, at this point, the Dodgers deserve to be the bad guys. They're doing a global hedge fund takeover. But they have very few issues, Rob. That's still a very good, and their bullpen is deeper than it's ever been.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, I know they're going to win a lot of games. I'm just saying, I saw in D.C., though, I got to admit, sloppy fielding, some misplays in the infield. It ain't automatic, BK.
Yeah.
You know that. You got to button up all those things. We saw the bullpen. They had to go to the minor leagues to get a starting pitcher against Washington. Gave up home runs. You know what I mean? Gave up runs.
I saw it. Look, last week, when the game that they beat the Braves, when the Braves still didn't have a win, they looked terrible for 3 innings. I mean, they looked like they were just waking up or something. Here's where they rank, though. I want to do a general snapshot because guys are hitting. They've got Will Smith is hitting 500. Mookie's hitting. Shohei's hitting. Conforto is hitting. Teoscar is hitting. They're 7th in runs per game, 7th in overall hitting. Base running is a little below league average. There's the weakness there. Defense, they are an older club. They don't have Freddie Freeman right now, right? So, that's a superstar they don't have.
And let me say this,
defensively, they look weak.
You mentioned the base running. Shohei had the biggest blunder I've seen in baseball in a long time. Runners on first and third, 2 outs. Mookie Betts up, the tying run.
And he ran.
And tries to steal second base and is thrown out ends the inning, and then Mookie doubles the lead off the ninth. You cannot have that. That's bad base running.
Yeah,
and
give you
those
that.
kind of
Yeah.
mistakes can bite you.
You're making sense. Look, there's a reason there's a mural of you in your high school. You know what it reminds me of? I go into Detroit Tigers camp a bunch of years ago for spring training. And up on the wall, the mural is, of course, Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline. Who comes walking around the corner? Al Kaline himself. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's what the kids feel like seeing you now, Rob.
I don't know if I'm Al Kaline, hey, the Hall of Famer, but it is great to be here at my high school and be able to, I've sat in these same classrooms, and my dream was to be a sports writer. And guess what, BK?
There you are.
It happened.
All right, we went over next year's free agent class a few minutes ago, Rob. Hope you got to see a little bit of that. And we've had people wonder, hey, how will the Vladimir Guerrero contract affect Pete Alonso, who signed very late and has an opt-out? But to me, I don't think Alonso's competing with Vladimir Guerrero. He's competing with Josh Naylor. Naylor and Alonso are much more similar.
Yeah, I think people are going to re-examine Pete. I think he got the short end of the stick. I would have never re-signed with the Mets when they didn't want to pay him. The Mets had $765 million for Juan Soto, but they really didn't have any money for Pete. Nobody hit bigger home runs in the postseason than Pete Alonso. He's carried the Mets.
Yeah, but you can't. You're right, but you can't take it personally. I think he went best offer. He's got a high AAV. They are paying him short term.
I would have taken less to go somewhere else.
You're taking it very personally. You can't do that.
Yes, because they wouldn't have made the playoff run that they made without Pete's home runs.
No question.
That home run against
He's their own
Devin
guy.
Williams was unbelievable.
Yeah. And he's their own guy, and he's been successful at every level, working up all that. But it's like in The Godfather, you're taking this very personal. You can't take it personal.
But also, two things that I love about Pete. He's available. He doesn't get hurt. He plays.
Yep.
And he plays under the pressure of New York. Everybody can't play in New York, so you got to give him some credit for that.
But after his rookie season, here's the bottom line. He's slugging just under 500. If he's slugging 600, now he's looking at hundreds of millions of dollars. But he's just not over the last few years. All right, last thing. I know you see Cody Bellinger giving up chicken wings. Like every time we do a bet, you're saying, BK, you and me, chicken wings. I always grab my stomach. I go, no, thank you. Bellinger's right. No more chicken wings.
He's crazy. Let me tell you something. Bellinger, if he gives up the chicken wings, what I'll say is more for us. I'll eat all the wings that Bellinger's not going to eat because chicken wings are a part of my diet. I must have all flat, Parmesan garlic, and a Diet Coke, and I'm good to go.
You'll get it there in Queens. By the way, that's a Lowell Gans. They're telling me. Just want to get this right. Lowell Gans,
that is
who wrote
who that
the
is.
Odd Couple. That's big. You are in terrific company there. Rob, great having you back on the show. Thank you so much. Enjoy Queens.
Always. Thank you, BK. We'll see you next week.
Rob Parker, like Al Kaline. Look at that. I knew Rob would like that. I want to be compared to Al Kaline.
When Rob was a newspaper columnist, he lived by this motto: if I'm writing, I'm ripping. Let's bring in a writer or broadcaster, old or new.
Now let's welcome into the podcast one of my favorite guys on the radio, Keith McPherson from WFAN in New York. Keith, man, thanks for joining the podcast.
Yeah, what up, Rob? Thanks for having me, man. Good to see you.
No doubt, always. And great to listen to you on the radio. You always got stuff to talk about. And I love your love for baseball. So let's jump into it with both New York baseball teams. First, I want to say I thought the Mets did Pete Alonso dirty. I really did. They really didn't offer him the kind of contract I think that he deserved. And so far in the start of the season, he's been lights out for the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, me not being a Mets fan and being a Yankee fan, I got no reason to hate on Pete. And so the whole offseason, I'm like, you got to pay that man. This man's about to be your all-time home run leader. You got to pay that man. He's been the face of the franchise. He's been there through all these different managers and owners and different iterations of that clubhouse. And, the way he started off earlier this season, it's clear that, just a little bit of security, a little bit of money. I've been on the air calling him Paid Pete. He's a different man now that he's papered up. He's got 15 RBI. This guy is hitting home runs. He hit a grand slam. And all the talk about Juan Soto, the highest paid player in the history of all sports, it's been Pete Alonso, the guy that they can rely on.
Well, let's go there to Juan Soto. Of course, a big catch for the Metropolitans. They get him $765 million. not a fake NFL contract or anything. This is real dollars. He's going to get every single nickel. What's been the reception of Juan Soto, obviously moving from the Bronx to Queens?
Yeah, well, you know, the Yankee fans, a lot of Yankee fans are scorn lovers. A lot of Yankee fans are tight about it. They feel some kind of way about it. They're hating on Juan Soto and the Mets. But, you know, Yankee fans been hating on the Mets since they began. So with Juan Soto, I think so many people were expecting him to come out and hit home runs. So many people were expecting him to come out and be dominant. They started calling him Juan So-So because his performance has been so-so. But he's got a, on base streak. He's getting on base. He's working his walks. He has driven some runs in. It's gonna come. It's been freezing cold, so you can't, you can't really look at these guys and judge them when they're out there with, ski caps and long sleeves and trying to warm up. It's so early in baseball. Eventually, they're gonna cut this part of the season off and shorten the season. But Juan Soto has been Juan Soto. From what I saw from him last year, the power numbers will come.
Let's go here, the expectations, the realistic expectations of the Mets. When you think about it, Keith, the National League is strong. Here we are earlier in the season, and the Dodgers are in third place in the NL West. I mean, you talk about the Giants are good so far. You talk about the Padres. We know about the Phillies. We know about the Braves. We know about the Mets. Even though the Braves are off to a shaky start, there are a lot of good teams in the National League. Does this team make it to the World Series?
Nah, they're not making it to the World Series. And I know I sound like a hater, but like they are getting by right now with Clay Holmes and Griffin Canning and Tyler McGill and David Peterson and Kodai Senga. Their bullpen has been the best in baseball. They've been lights out, phenomenal. Shout out to Mendoza managing that pen. But, there's going to come a stretch of the season where they're not playing against the Marlins. They've had 2 series against the Marlins. There's going to come a stretch of the season where they're not playing against the Blue Jays. They're going to face some teams that have an axe to grind in their division, right? They knocked off the Braves. They knocked off the Phillies last year. And they're going to face some teams with some star power, like the Dodgers. And even like the Giants have made some noise. The Diamondbacks have made some noise. The Brewers have figured it out after getting swept their first series. Like, there are teams in the National League, the Cubs, there are teams in the National League with some star power too that are going to want to go toe-to-toe with them and have better starting pitching than them, where it's going to come down to, if you have an ace or not that can get you through 5, 6, 7 innings. And I don't know if they have those guys, and I don't know how long their bullpen is going to hold. Their pitching has been ahead of their lineup, right? They've been able to win games 3-2. 2-1, 2-0. That's not going to hold all year. You're going to have to put up some runs. So I don't think they're a World Series team this year, but I do think they can be a postseason team, a playoff team. It's hard enough in the Mets' history for them to go back-to-back years making the postseason. So I think they can get the wild card again.
Our guest is Keith McPherson, of course, radio host of WFAN in New York, the original all-sports station in this country. Let's go to the Bronx Bombers and the Yankees. And, of course, Aaron Judge got off to a fantastic start. And the crazy thing is when you look at the numbers between him and Babe Ruth in the same amount of games, and they had identical home runs, when you see that, it tells you where he fits in historically. He's got to be one of the greatest sluggers that we've ever seen in baseball.
There were a couple stats with Babe Ruth, some with Gehrig and DiMaggio, and we laugh as Yankee fans, especially as young Yankee fans that have, we've never even kind of seen, the old days, and like we almost look at those as like fables and fairy tales. Like, yeah, it sounds good. They were this good back then, but Judge is this good right now. And what I'm hoping for Judge is that he does statistically have his best season, another MVP season, and he could just do it in October.
Here's the other question, last thing on the Yankees and their expectations. Obviously, they went to the World Series for the first time since 2009. People have not counted them out, even though, you lose your ace pitcher for the year. But they did sign Max Fried, and they have other pitchers. Do they have enough pitching in the AL to make it out and get back to the World Series and try to win a World Series?
Right now, no. Right now, no. The same way I just went through the names pitching for the Mets, you got Carlos Carrasco going out there, and Carlos Carrasco is at the end of his career. He's, Cookie is about done. You have Will Warren, who is a whole rookie He's still at single-digit starts in Major League Baseball. You have guys like Marcus Stroman going, who in the offseason, all the conversation was they're trading him, they're trading him, they're trading him. And he didn't pitch in October and was shut down for a lot of the end of the season. So, like, you're relying on that. Carlos Rodon is shaky. And then you mentioned Max Fried. Max Fried, I mean, Yankee fans are glad to have him because he's an ace. When you lose Cole, he is an ace. He's gotten all the run support, but there's going to come a time where he's got to hold it down and he's not getting run support. The bullpen has been solid, but at the same time, they're signing Adam Ottavino, dropping him, bringing him back. They're relying on guys like Ryan Yarbrough, who was cut. They're kind of patching this thing together and waiting for guys to come back. You need 2 solid starters in October to get you through.
No doubt. He is Keith McPherson. He knows the game of baseball. Listen to him on WFAN in New York, man. Keith, appreciate it. Loved it. Thank you, my man.
Rob, you the man. Appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Now, here's the best from MLBBro.com.
Mike Matthew here with MLB Bro, and I'm here to let you know what's popping.
Baseball fans, we all know about angels in the outfield, but there's an angel in the infield that is helping the Angels get off to a very hot start, and he is no other than MLB Bro, Kyron Paris. The 23-year-old California native is playing some really good baseball there at second base, helping the Angels pick up some early victories as they sit at 6-3. In his third season, Paris is starting the year off by hitting .444 with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. On Sunday afternoon, Paris showed us his power in the 6-2 victory over the Cleveland Guardians. Now the Angels travel to Tampa Bay for a series, and you better have your eyes on Mr. Kyron Paris, and that's what's popping.
For more, right now, go to MLBBro.com.
No! This is baloney!
It's the Parker Pushback.
Shut the up!
Here, Rob tackles the outlandish takes in Major League Baseball.
You idiot! Shut up!
I'm pushing back at all those baseball fans who were mad at Cincinnati Reds shortstop Elly De La Cruz for trying to bunt in a game against the Milwaukee Brewers where, sure, the Brewers pitcher had a no-hitter through 5 innings, but this was the 6th inning of a game. The Reds were coming off 3 straight 1-0 losses. They had no offense going. Talking about it's an unwritten rule. You don't bunt during a no-hitter. You don't bunt in the 9th inning if a guy has a no-hitter. You got to swing the bat. I'm with that unwritten rule. But in the 6th inning of a game where your team needs a spark and you need to do something to get on base and give your team a chance, come on, man. You guys are getting too crazy with this. The idea that one of the fastest guys in baseball can't bunt in the 6th inning because his team is being no-hit? What? The game was far from over. Elly De La Cruz was in legal right to bunt, do whatever he wanted to do to get on base during that time. Man, come on. It's baseball. Stop belly aching. Stop trying to help people get no-hitters. In the 9th inning is one thing. The rest of the game, all bets are off.
Make way for Weekend Wagers.
Yo, it's Sean Bo. Fire up those bed naps. Let's go. Let's get into it in week 3. And you know week 2 was fire. 2-0. Go ahead and mark it in the books. 3 wins up, 1 win down. And we're going to keep that hot streak going this week as we visit the Bronx. And you know it wouldn't be right if we're not taking plus money dogs. And the San Francisco Giants are them. Go ahead and take Robbie Ray on Friday. 2 wins, 0 losses so far. And I'm sorry to do this to our fellow Mal Marauder Marcus Stroman, but the Black Ace does not look good, and those bats are not swinging for the Yankees. And we're going to stay there on Saturday. Go ahead and bet on the young Black Ace Jordan Hicks. Yes, we're taking the Giants back-to-back in the Bronx. Take that plus money again for the hottest team in baseball, looking for that number 1 spot in the NL West. Betting on the Giants all weekend long, and we see y'all next week. MLBBro.com, Inside the Parker.
Hi, I'm Rob Parker, the founder and editor of MLBBro.com, where we cover black and brown major leaguers. 75% of the content will be about the current black and brown stars in Major League Baseball. The other 25% will take a look back at some of the great black players. On the site, there'll be a ton of great written stories and videos and features.
MLB Bro, because you need to know.
MLB fans, when it comes to Major League Baseball, no one covers it better than the Odd Couple.
Fact. I am the baseball king.
First, second, third, and home.
We're leading shows with baseball.
Game over.
They don't watch it.
They don't know the game.
All in one place.
Let's go.
Right here on Fox Sports Radio.
I love baseball.
In the words of New York TV legend, the late Bill Jorgensen, thanking you for your time this time until next time. Rob Parker, out.
He can't get it. This could be an inside to Parker.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.